even a draw.
Lennox Lewis is in shock.
I was flabbergasted. I couldn't believe that they actually gave it a draw. And in fact, if I didn't win that last round, they had me losing. You know, I thought I was comfortably winning.
He didn't do enough to win. I didn't do enough to win. And people's expectation for me to just run him over. And I wasn't able to do that. And it disappointed them, and they felt great because of what he did. And you know, but still, when they look at it on a reasonable note and measure both guys as world champion, then you can only say, well, it's a draw.
You know, I realized that he wasn't as good as I thought he was, you know, as he was made out to be. You know, I thought he had all this experience and all this great skill, but I realized that, you know, my skill was just as superior or even better.
And it's kind of sad to know that we are going to fight, and he thought I was easy. Then what would he say to the people when something happened to him? You know, he'd be embarrassed. That's the reason people put pressure on themselves, because the immaturity.
Come on out. Mr. Brown, he go out, y'all. He out of here.
I did feel that I was going to knock him out in the third round. But the next driving factor after that was just that I didn't feel good either. So I didn't get him in the third round. Then I realized that, shoot, I got another 9 round. Kind of foolish to change something that kind of worked for him. So I would think that he would fight the same way.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be not a smart boxer if I'm not using all my equipment, and I say my equipment, my size, my reach, my movement, and my power towards my advantage.
Holyfield has to get inside and punish this guy. He cannot fight outside. The guy is big, he's cagey, and he likes to grab. He got good range. He knows how to keep you outside, and he's not going to gamble.
Well, to take advantage, I would have to move. I'm the smaller man and a lot quicker. So more movement than I do will work to my advantage. I had to fight this style of fight when I fought Red at Boat. I'm going to do the very best that I can. I just think the best will allow me to knock him out.
Oh, this is unbelievable in here. It's absolutely unbelievable. They've just had the British national anthem. You've got 9,000 people from England screaming the words to the national anthem. This is electricity. I love it, Carl.
It's got to be.
I love it. There's no place I'd better be. This is a heavyweight championship of the world. Wherever you're watching around the world, let me tell you, folks, you want to be in my seat tonight. I love this.
Or mine. It doesn't really matter. This is great.
Oh, man, this is sensational. The Brits really bring it out. In all fairness to the people in the UK, you are making this night really history at the end of the millennium here in the United States. Here's the American anthem now.
By the dawn's early light was so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last.
You can cut this atmosphere with a knife. I'll tell you what the Teozo fight lacked in drama and in spectacle, this hasn't, and it hasn't even started yet. The fighters haven't even left that dressing room. Carl, how about this? I told you when we do heavyweight title fights, you'd love it.
I already do love it. It just simply doesn't get any better than this. You know, the electricity here and a heavyweight championship fight is far better than anything else in sports. The World Series here, the World Cup, I would imagine, in Europe, and the Super Bowls. None of that can compare to the excitement we're going to have here at Thomas & Mack Center tonight.
Look at this. The Brits are really pumped, and they should be. They think their man can take the 3 belts back and have the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. God bless you all. Glad you can be over here. Glad we took our independence from you as well.
I'll say that
welcome
too.
Back to the colony.
Yes, it.
It'll be 12 rounds. You heard what Don Turner said in the feature. His man, Evander Holyfield, must be able to get inside Lennox Lewis. We'll know that right away. What he's got to do, Carl, is be able to get in close enough where he can use his elbow to push him off, to get him back on his heels, and then fire shots to the body. He's got to be able to plant his right foot between the legs of Lennox Lewis, so his heel is even with Lennox's heel, and then it's a leverage situation. Try that at home, folks. Just put your leg between a bigger person's leg and just lift up a little bit, and you can knock them right off their feet. away with leverage. That's what his coach and trainer, Kenny Weldon, has been working with him on, but he must be able to execute that. I said to Don Turner, I agree with everything you say. I agree with your strategy, but can you absolutely show me that your man has got the reflexes to be able to do that? We've got some predictions from a lot of different people, and I think our fellas are ready to show that to you. So here's what some of the guys in the media think about how this fight's going to go. The crowd is electrified.
It's not just God predicting the third round. Lennox wants a knockout, which means he's got to come out of his protective shell, put them all together. You've got to fight.
Holyfield will raise things a notch, and I think Lewis will take more chances, though I don't know that that's in his best interest. And I think given that, there will be more fireworks in this fight.
Evander Holyfield's not a guy that gets knocked out with one punch. I mean, he takes a very good shot. So I don't think he really has to worry about running into a shot and getting knocked out. So I think Evander Holyfield knows what he has to do. The question is, can he still do it?
What Holyfield needs to do is fight more rounds like he fought the third round. It's my belief, had he fought rounds 1 and 2 the way he fought the third round, he might well have stopped him as he sort of promised he would do.
Bob Sheridan with Carl King. We're back here. That's Rachel Hunter, the beautiful supermodel. And I'll tell you, there's some beautiful looking girls around here, but none any more beautiful than Rachel. Isn't she terrific? Wow, spectacular.
That whole crew is unbelievable.
You know, the thing about a heavyweight title fight, it's not just the boxing fans that come out for it. All the beautiful people come out to see and be seen, as my next door neighbor in Island PDA.
I tell you what, and this is not just a sporting event, it's a social event as well, and that transcends the sport of boxing and transcends the heavyweight championship of the world.
I tell you, there's something special too when Don King promotes a fight. He gets the electricity going early in the week, but this fight doesn't need any hype. People were so disappointed in the decision the last time. You and I sort of predicted that there could be problems with the scoring. More of the actors around.
Our friend John Horn.
John Horn, who used to be with Mike Tyson. A good friend of all of ours at King Vision. But one thing that we don't want to see is any controversy. I want to see this thing end properly.
That's right. You know, this could be a great fight. But you've seen some of the predictions from some of the members of the press. I happen to agree with Ron Borges out of Boston Globe, I believe it is. Look at this. Boy, you just got so many stars, you don't know. This is the who's who of the stars and celebs tonight. Right here at the Thomas & Mack Center in Las Vegas. Look at them, folks. These guys, everyone's out for tonight. There's no stars left in Hollywood or the sky, by that matter.
There's no gold in Fort Knox tonight either. It's all around the necks and on the fingers of the people that are in attendance here. What we're waiting for is the American network, TBKO, to get set up over there. And when they're ready, there's another beauty on hand here. Oh, isn't she lovely? Wow. I'm so excited about the fight, the girls don't even interest me tonight, Cal. You know I'm pumped up about a fight when I'm like that, because you know how I love the women.
You know, Colonel, that you can't blame you, though. You know, you might have to do this one solo tonight. No, just kidding. This is a great event. I wouldn't miss this opportunity for all the tea in China.
You know, when I was a kid, I used to lay in bed at night and listen to the great announcer Don Dumphy call a world title fights, and I used to think, God, what must it be like to be at a heavyweight championship fight? This is my 634th telecast of a world title fight tonight, which is about 4 times more than Don Dumphy did in his career. And I'll tell you, I love it just as much tonight as I did the very first world title fight I did so many years ago when Ken Buchanan won the lightweight championship from a Cuban out of Miami named Frankie Otero. Look at the crowd in attendance here. All the celebrities are here. You saw Michael Douglas, Eddie Murphy. Look at the Brits. They're pretty happy about their victory over Scotland today, too.
Right.
They're holding up their team colors. There's 9,000 Brits that are officially here. Now, that means that they bought their tickets in England, and there's probably another 2,000 or 3,000 that are watching in the closed circuit locations like at Caesars Palace, the Las Vegas Hilton, the Monte Carlo, the Flamingo Hilton. We want to say hello to the people at Mandalay Bay, Excalibur, Circus, Luxor, and also at Paris. And my good friend Tom Willer watching at the Stratosphere Tower.
Right.
We want to say hello to all of those people. And the media here, you know, folks, when you're here for a heavyweight championship fight, just picture an Olympic game games with 50 venues scattered all over a city with all the media that covers that. Multiply that times about 2, and that's what you've got covering 2 men that are fighting for the most coveted title in the whole world, the heavyweight championship of the world. Well, we're just moments away from the fighters beginning to enter. So, Carl, let's analyze what this fight has to be. First off, you got to say the fighters have got to be more aggressive than they were in the first fight so that they can win rounds more definitively.
Absolutely, you know, and that's going to be the difference tonight. As I was saying earlier, Ron Borges hit it right on the head. I think Evander has to fight every round like he fought the 3rd round 8 months ago to the day. And Lennox Lewis, on the other hand, has to step up the pace, use his jab, take more risks, and try to get the job done that way.
Well, the fighters, I think I hear the music. Lennox Lewis will enter first. They had a coin toss by Mark Ratner of the Nevada State Athletic Commission. So Lewis will enter first. This crowd will go bonkers because there's more Brits here than there are Americans. So as soon as Lewis is making his appearance, you'll see it. But while we wait for Lennox to make his appearance, we'll show you the tail of the tape, and you'll see that just plain out that Lennox Lewis is a much bigger man than Evander Holyfield. Take a look at the height first off. You'll see that Evander Holyfield is 2.5 inches shorter. He's 25 pounds lighter. He's 3 years older, which is a disadvantage. He doesn't think so, but it is. And he has a 6.5 inch shorter reach. But remember, that's pretty much the case in all of his fights. These are the unified rules under which this heavyweight championship fight will be contested. The 10-point must scoring system, no standing out count, and no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop a fight, and a fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. If there's any cuts, we'll get into it. Here he comes, Lennox Lewis, record 34-1. 1 draw, 27 KOs. He knocked out Riddick Bowe to win the gold medal at the '88 Seoul Olympics. As a professional, Lennox Lewis is 34-1-1 with 27 KOs. He's lived for 1 goal and 1 goal only, and that's to become the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. His picture is up on the screen here, and pretty soon when he comes out of this tunnel, listen to the Brits go crazy when they see him. He's been labeled absolutely the most lethal puncher in the heavyweight division, and now he makes his appearance. Here he comes, Lennox Lewis. Within a span of a year, you know, a couple of undisputed heavyweight champions like Mike Tyson and Riddick Bowe sacrificed huge paydays rather than, you might say, to absorb the sledgehammer punches of this guy. He gets step-aside money, but they didn't want to fight him.
You know, and you can understand why. 6'5", 242 pounds in solid muscle shape condition. This guy is a force to be reckoned with in the heavyweight division. There's no question about that.
Since winning the WBC heavyweight title against Oliver McCall back in February of '97 with a 5th round TKO, Lewis defended the title 4 times. In '97 against Henry Akinwande. In '97 October that year on Halloween night, he disposed of Andrew Golota. Destroyed him in the 1st round. Then he had a little trouble with Shannon Briggs, but he caught up with him by the 5th round. And then he went 12 rounds against Zeljko Mavrovic, the kid from Yugoslavia. And that was a pretty good night for Zeljko, but it was a great night for Lennox Lewis in defending his title. And of course, you know what he did in the first fight. Carl King and I, who broadcast that fight, thought it was much closer than what the American commentators had. But nonetheless, we thought Lennox Lewis won the fight and should have got the decision. But that's what this is all about. What are they calling this? The moment of truth? The search for truth? Unfinished business?
Unfinished business.
There he is, Lennox Lewis, the pride of London, England. Best punch, the right hand over the top. The atmosphere in this arena is absolute electricity. Unfortunately, your sound, wherever you're watching, just can't capture how exciting this is. Here he comes, Evander Holyfield, the reigning WBA and IBF champion of the world. Heart, courage, toughness, always been the words affiliated with Evander Holyfield. Holyfield's 11th round knockout over the then heavily favored Mike Tyson for the WBA heavyweight title back in November of '96 was an epic that was beyond description. Their second encounter was beyond description as well, but not in the same way. He's really got himself worked up He comes in last, but Evander Holyfield will be introduced by Jimmy Lennon first.
Here he is. Here he's in the ring now.
Evander Holyfield in '97 added the IBF crown when he defeated Michael Mora. He's won every rematch that he's fought with Riddick Bowe, Michael Mora, and Mike Tyson. So he's looking forward to this fight. And listen to them chanting, Lewis, Lewis.
As you know, this is like visions of yesteryear when it was Bruno.
That's right.
I tell you what, these Brits are great, and it adds a lot of excitement to the sport of boxing, and that's what it's all about.
And Frank Bruno sitting right behind us. Here's Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Gentlemen, a very good evening to you, and we welcome you to the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas, Nevada, for the featured bout of the evening as we join together to witness the last mega fight of the 20th century. And it's all brought to you by Don King Productions in association with Panics of the U.S. Main events: Caesar's Palace, the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino, TVKO, and Budweiser, the undisputed, undefeated king of beers. This bout coming away is sanctioned by the World Boxing Association, President Gilberto Mendoza, Supervisor Jimmy Benz, the World Boxing Council, President Jose Sulaiman, Supervisor Edmund Lipinski, the International Boxing Federation, President Robert Lee Sr., Supervisor Walter Stone, and the Nevada State Athletic Commission. The chairman is Dr. Elias Ghanem, commissioners Amy Ayub, Glenn Carano, Lorenzo Fertitta, Dr. Luther Mack with the executive director, Mark Ratner. Introducing to you our physicians at ringside, we have doctors Flip Omansky, Margaret Goodman, Al Cabana, and James Game. Introducing our timekeepers and also keeping count of the knockdowns, we have Al Bisick and Jane Broadfoot. Introducing to you our judges, all three from Las Vegas, Nevada, Chuck Jompa, Bill Graham, and Jerry Roth. Introducing the third man of the ring, working in this, his 60th world title bout, Mitch Halpern. All right, fans, here we go with the rematch we've all been waiting for. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from Las Vegas, it's time for the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Introducing to you first the title holder on my right, fighting out of the red corner, wearing purple trunks with white and red trim, representing his hometown of Atlanta, Georgia. He weighed in at 217 pounds, and with a record of 36 wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw, he has 25 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the former undisputed cruiserweight world champion, the former undisputed heavyweight world champion, and the current WBA and IBF heavyweight champion of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome boxing's proud warrior, introducing Evander, the real deal, Holyfield. His opponent across the ring, the other title holder on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white trunks with red trim, the big man from London, England. He weighed in at 242 pounds. The 1988 Olympic gold medalist has a professional record of 34 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, with 27 big knockouts to his credit. Tonight, attempting to become the first British heavyweight in 100 years to capture the undisputed title, here is the hard-hitting and current WBC heavyweight champion of the world, introducing Lennox Lewis. Once again, Mitch Halpern is our referee in charge.
This place is unbelievable. The Brits have turned this place to electricity. Mitch Halpern gives the final instructions Carl, I've got goosebumps the size of watermelons on you. This is unbelievable.
I tell you what, and you know what? A lot of these American fans are pulling for Lennox as well.
Well, I tell you.
Gee, that's what's going on here.
You would think this fight was in Wembley Stadium in London, England, the way this crowd is pulling for Lennox Lewis. The atmosphere is electricity. Here it is, the rematch. We've all waited for it. The heavyweight championship of the world. Undisputed. Lennox Lewis in the white trunks. Evander Holyfield in purple. Listen to the chanting of the Brits. They're going absolutely crazy here. I love it, Carl. This is terrific. It doesn't get any better in the most pure form of sport than the heavyweight championship of the world. Mitch Halpern waiting to signal Jade Bradford to start with the opening bell of this fight. Bob Sheridan, Carl King, Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, and the heavyweight championship of the world. Live from Thomas & Mack. Here we go, round one. Lennox Lewis, a little bit tentative first. It's Evander that wants to pick up the pace and take this first round. Notice the speed of the jab of Lennox Lewis. Notice so far that Evander has not been able to get inside. He doesn't want to fight outside here. This is the kill zone of Lennox Lewis. Lennox feels like he can drop that sledgehammer right hand, tip him with the left hook. Lennox pounds him with the right hand, and Evander ties him up inside. Now Evander will try to get that leg of his up behind the heels of the big guy, Lennox Lewis, and walk him backwards. And instead, Lennox won't let him do that. He loops that big, heavy arm over him, goes with a jab to the head of Evander. Evander's a little bit short with his jab. Remember, there's a 6.5-inch reach difference in favor of the taller, bigger, and stronger Lennox Lewis. Lennox digs downstairs. Evander has not been able to get inside of this guy. Big thundering right hand to the body of Evander Holyfield. Holyfield tries to tap him on the chest, Lennox a little bit cautious here in the early going. That's his history. Listen to the Brits screaming Lewis to try to inspire him. Now Lennox needs to get busier.
Yeah, he does. He really does. But Evander's got to find his range right now. He's just pawing and pawing just to try to find the right range so he can get started and do what he has to do. But he shouldn't be on the outside, like you said, because that's the kill zone for him.
He bangs him inside. He's got that elbow up in the chest, trying to back him up and throw the right hand. Mitch Halpern has to separate the two. Lennox wants to throw that lumbering right hand, and what he wants to do is get the left in the way of the left eye of Holyfield and then throw the right hand over it. It's an overhand. There it is right there, but he missed it. And that's what I mean about Holyfield getting inside. If he can get inside that lumbering punch, then it takes the effectiveness away from Lennox Lewis. Whether he can execute that for 12 rounds is the problem. See, there he was, ducking it inside it again, so the big, powerful punch goes over the shoulder of the big warrior.
Already
in this case, he's the little warrior.
Yeah, you've already seen Lennox complaining about Evander's use of the head. But that, to me, is just a ploy. It's a tactic to be used.
Notice this time, Carl, and for all of you watching around the world, Lennox Lewis doesn't have that cup that's riding up underneath his armpits either. So the body shot should be better. But the power inside of Lennox and his ability to tie this guy up is pretty good right now.
Oh, yeah.
This is another tough round to score. Now, Lennox has landed 3 or 4 what I'd call semi-power shots, and yet Evander's been busier. There's the jab.
Double jab, in fact. And that's what he needs to do to set up what he has to get done. The double jab sets everything up. Then he can unload with the right hand, followed by the left hook.
Right now, Evander Holyfield is dictating the pace. So if for nothing more, he's controlling effective aggressiveness right now. Lennox looks like he can land the power shots, but he's not landing enough shots in general to win this round. But the heavier punches are being landed by Lennox Lewis when they are landed. But this is a tough round.
It is. And this is indicative of what we experienced throughout a lot of rounds in the last fight.
Now, how do you score this? More heavy punches landed by Lennox Lewis at the bell ends, the first round, or more punches thrown, it looked like to me, and not as heavy punches landed by Evander Holyfield. That's a tough round to score. So I'm going to score it even.
Trying to chop over top. Trying to start cutting him underneath a little bit. About 4 or 5 rounds, I think he starts getting tired a little bit more. But it's basically the same fight. He's a little bit more intense, but it's basically the same thing. Keep working your jab, bro. Tapping out the wild.
The water. As Evander. Real serious look in his face.
Don't try to throw the left hook until you knock this away and his chin is that. Come on, man.
See what he wants to do. What Don Turner is saying, Carl, as you watch the replay here.
You see that he's doing, that was a good, strong right uppercut, right in the midsection, and the solar plexus landed by the world champion Lennox Lewis here. And there it is again from a different angle, right up under the chest on his rib cage as he's holding behind the head, and you can see that Lennox Lewis is a big, strong guy.
Back to the live shot at the Thomas & Mack Arena. Lennox Lewis in the white trunks to the left of your screen. That's Evander Holyfield, the IBF and WBA champion, with his back to you now, sliding around to the left of the screen. There's Lennox trying to keep that jab in the face of Evander Holyfield. Holyfield wants to parry those shots. What he's doing with his right hand when the left hand comes out of Lennox is he's just kind of fending them off with his own right hand, and he's looking to throw the left hook behind it. But he's got to be careful because he's susceptible to right uppercut when he does that. And the right looping overhand right. Lennox should throw more uppercuts because I think he'd be successful.
I think he should use his left hand more because he's right now just loading up the right hand, and you can see it coming, and he's just pawing the left out there to use to land a big right hand.
What Holyfield is trying to do to neutralize the right hand of Lennox Lewis is tap him on the shoulder, because when you hit a guy in the shoulder and here like this, he can't load up the right hand. But you better make sure that you hit that shoulder when you go in there, or you'll get knocked out.
See, this is what Lennox Lewis did when he got knocked out by Oliver McCall. He had his hands down and he's pawing, and he's wide open for a sharpshooter with a right hand. See, as he paws out, his right hand is low, his left hand is pawing out there. He could be nailed and nailed big, but you got to be able to execute that.
Folks, notice what Evander's trying to do. He's parrying, and that means to push the hands away as Lennox throws his up. He just pushes them off so it doesn't land flush, and then he counters with his own. Lennox can do one thing, and that's come with more uppercuts, or really let fly with the right hand. And Lennox is not doing that enough either, Carl. He's not throwing the right hand enough. Well, one thing for sure is he's not busy enough, again, to win these rounds definitively. This first round, as far as I'm concerned, was pretty dead even.
And I agree with you. See, Lennox is the type of fighter who just paws out there. He waits. He's not a really aggressive fighter. He's looking to land the one blow rather than work for the big blow.
Well, Evander is certainly more aggressive in this round. He's forcing the fight. Lennox backs off. He digs to the body. He's not hurting Lennox Lewis. But on the judges' scorecard so far in the second round, I got to say it's Holyfield. And remember, Holyfield was more aggressive in the first round as well. Wow, with the left hand is Evander Holyfield. Holyfield up on his toes. He's settled into a comfort level here now where he's showing no fear of this guy. He's doing what he wants to do in terms of parrying that big left jab off. But what he's going to do after he parries that is come with the left hook to the body. He's got to get inside this guy, remember, to win the fight.
And you see, typically, there's Lewis with his left hand very, very low. That's how he got beat in his only defeat by Oliver McCall, who landed a big overhand right.
And see, again, that Evander was able to bounce inside of that looping right hand. So the timing is slightly off, and Lennox is trying to time that right hand to knock this guy out with one punch. He wants a knockout to win this thing definitively, but he's waiting on it too much. And with 13, 12 seconds to go in this round, Evander Holyfield, I think, has won the second round of this fight.
I happen to agree.
And some judges may have given him the first round because he was more aggressive.
And you know, you notice this here. You got it. Evander's use of his jab is much better.
Well, again, a real good strategic fight to this point for Evander Holyfield. Let's listen into the corner. This is Don Turner talking to him.
Straight.
Here. Don't get flat-footed. Need more?
No. Give it some water. Hey, man, listen.
A little water.
2 jabs in the right hand. Jabbing to the chest and to the shoulder takes his right hand away. They're trying to hit you with a right uppercut coming in. You gotta keep him busy.
Okay.
When you get in close, bang him on the arm. Bang him here.
The faster you step, the faster you get your hands off. Okay. All in your step.
Mouthpiece.
Here, Don Turner repeat what I said about hitting that shoulder to take that right hand away. And that's a key, because it takes away the power of the right. When you bang a guy on his right shoulder, he can't have power coming backwards.
That's right. And it nullifies that right hand.
And again, that's leverage that does that. The reason why he can't throw it is because you don't have the leverage. Let's see if he can execute it. 2 jabs in the right hand. Let's see if he can execute what Don wants. Don Turner, by the way, is one of the finest strategic teachers in boxing. The question that this fight's all about is, can Evander continue to be able to do it at this age? And right now, he looks fine.
You know, he does. And what he has to do typically against the bigger guys, much like we've seen earlier with Shamba Mitchell, the smaller guy, and how elusive he was to dip down and open himself up so he can nail the bigger guy with the big punch.
Now, the crowd really came to a big hurrah there, but Lennox Lewis missed both of those punches. Nice job avoiding shots by Evander Holyfield. Lennox, again, hasn't scored anything in this round, in my opinion. He looks like he's throwing heavier blows, but Evander is landing more blows. He's right on his toes, and notice who's backing up and who's doing the backing up.
That's right, exactly. The guy that said that, that he was going to come take the title.
Well, I'll tell you this. Lennox Lewis had better get a lot busier unless he's going to depend on a late round wild punch to try and knock this guy out.
You know, Evander is starting to close the gap a little bit, so to speak.
Close the gap, meaning coming inside. And that's exactly what he needs to do.
Exactly, and he'll become more effective, and Lennox it would take away the leverage on the right hand.
Now, there's a good right hand that spun the head of Evander, but Evander gobbled it up because Lennox wasn't in the exact position. Evander was backing him off a little bit. Even though that right hand came, it didn't come with the flurry and the force that it could have come. Mitch Halpern, the third man in the ring in his 60th championship fight, one of the great young referees in Nevada. Again, notice that Lennox Lewis isn't real busy. He's looking for the one big punch which he's made his career on. Ton of first-round knockouts and second-round knockouts in his early career and through most of his career. He went 12 rounds against Tony Tucker. He went 12 rounds against Shannon Briggs, Zelchko Mambrovic, and they went 12 rounds in that draw against Evander. Other than that, most of his fights, like all the big guys, George Foreman, Sonny Liston, early round knockouts. But this guy's a great fighter. In spite of his age, he's still a terrific fighter.
There's no question about that. And I think tonight, as you can see, he's given a better effort thus far than the WBC champion Lewis is doing.
Now, Evander's busier, but Lennox is tagging him with some shots with the left hand and occasionally with the right hand. But this again, big right hand. Set it up on the left, kicks to the body. He surprised Lennox Lewis with that one, and he blinked his eyes.
That's what I was alluding to earlier about the way he carries his left hand, and that's how he got knocked out back in '94 by Oliver McCall.
This is another one of those top rounds to score, folks.
Well, you're right.
Based on the heavy shot, on the heaviest shot. Look at this, he's batting back. Evander is a warrior. He has him inside. Takes him again. All the action at the close of the third round. Holyfield may have stolen that round.
I think he did. I actually thought he won that.
You had the round one, and he won it off of that, okay?
That's right.
You got to just keep it back on your jab. You're getting lazy. Don't let him get too close.
You heard what Emmanuel Stewart said? You had that round one, and he took it back from you. That's the way I scored it.
Everything you're shooting is over top, okay? You've got to get some shots from underneath. Get him back.
They want him to come with the uppercuts now.
Come with something underneath, too, okay? Get some respect.
Okay, here, let's take a look at this. There's that big right hand, as I was alluding to all along, and Lennox keeps his left hand way too low.
And there it is still there, Kyle. Perfect example.
Now you got, at the end of the round there's another great right hand by Holyfield. Left hook, barely missed. And he's just in the jab to set it up, and he's backing the big guy off of him. And that's what he has to continue to do to carry this fight forward.
Folks, I want you to notice one thing that he did. Both times when he threw big power shots, he covered up immediately and bent over the trunk so he couldn't be countered. That's really intelligent fighting by Evander Holyfield. And no question he's a better boxer.
Oh, that's right.
The question is he going to be able to do this for the full 12 rounds? We're in round 4. I'm the Colonel Bob Sherwood, along with Carl King. You're watching the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world, around the world, live on King Vision. Glad that you can be with us here from the Thomas & Mack Center in Las Vegas, Nevada, in the United States of America. This is round 4 action.
Well, I tell you what, Colonel, Evander Holyfield can ill afford to take any round off. He has to go and fire those big shots like he just did this.
Well, I'll tell you this, Evander really looks so much quicker in this fight than he did in the last fight. And notice another thing, in this, the 4th round of the fight, he didn't make any predictions. He's not laying on the ropes. He's come to fight, and he's right out in the center of the ring, up on his toes, in and out, doing what he has to do. He's outboxing Lennox Lewis right now.
He's got Lennox a big concern right now. And another thing, Lewis's mouth is open. I don't know if that's just typically his style or is he slightly winded. It's hard to tell, but his mouth is open and it should be.
Well, big guys with those great big arms, they don't like getting into later rounds of fights. And I alluded to the amount of fights that he's had to go 12. But most of his fights are short, crisp fights because he's just so strong. But this guy that he's boxing, in spite of his age, 37, he's been a warrior his whole life, and he's certainly showing through 3 and into 4 rounds that he's a warrior tonight.
And he's most certainly the aggressor thus far throughout the entire fight, in my opinion. And there it is.
Look at, he gets inside. You see the way he tried to get that elbow in there? He did get the leg up between his and pushed him right back. That's the leverage. That stuff was taught by Kenny Walden to him, and he's able to execute it. He's got Lennox off balance. He's got Lennox backing up. He's got Lennox jabbing while he's backing up, and there's only been one heavyweight that could do that, and that was Muhammad Ali. And very few people had the gifts that Ali had as an athlete.
I think none had.
Well, he's the athlete of the century in my book. Lennox trying to get up on his toes and be busier here with the jab, but he's got to throw more right hands too. As I say that he does, but what does Evander do? He parries it off, he gets inside. So it's an ineffective right hand. And remember, if you're aggressive, according to judges, it's got to be effective aggressiveness.
Absolutely, and that's a good point. And I think that Evander understands that rule very, very well.
Evander goes to the chest, and that's what they want him to do. Touch, and then throw the right. Boom, boom. He wasn't in position to throw the right that time, but that's what he wants to do. Lennox throws kind of a lazy right hand that time. Look at the way his mouth is hanging open. Evander clipped him with the right hand. Nice, crisp right hand across the jaw. Trying to back off the big guy. Digs to the body. He's touching him every time. This is Evander Holyfield's round with 14 seconds to go. Evander's won 2, 3, and 4. He may have won the first round, and in that case, Evander Holyfield is pitching a cutout. This guy's looking to land one big shot or carry him to the later rounds and try to knock him out. Finally comes to the other punch, but it doesn't do anything. There's another good round for Evander Holyfield. He is a warrior.
There's no question about that. I tell you what, he's come to fight tonight, and I tell you, it's a different Evander Holyfield in that ring tonight, and it looks like it's a different Lennox Lewis, too.
I'll tell you this, it very definitely is a different Evander Holyfield than what we saw in Madison Square Garden. Now, when you get through these middle rounds, how much fatigue? That's a big factor with a man 37.
Look at how Lennox in the corner, how he's breathing really hard.
Very hard. Let's listen to Manuel Stewart.
Slow down, get the right hand down here, shoot it short and tend to straighten you tighten up, okay? Shorten it up on the right hand, right. Your right hand is too long and too high. If you shorten up and concentrate on tightening up the right hand, squeeze it tighter, get it off. You can catch it with the right hand, but you're shooting it too low, a little bit too much. Back to your jab.
I'll tell you, Emmanuel Stewart is picking up everything that we're saying.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, he might be mic'd over there.
All right, here we go. This is round number 5. Lennox on his stool to the very last second. Holyfield breezes off his stool. Let's see how the 5th round goes. Lewis in white to the left of your screen. In purple, Evander Holyfield with his back to you now. Evander's still a bit on the cautious side and is really shooting. Nice left hook by Evander Holyfield. Digs to the body. Holds and misses with a wild left hand as Evander. Lennox tries to fight back. Nails him with the right hand. But Holyfield answers to the body. Then Lennox ties him up. And now he warns him about the headbutt.
They're getting it on now, Colonel.
Yes, sir. Lennox comes inside. Nailed him with the right hand. Back Evander back up. Now look at this. This is a war now. Evander's tired of taking it. Now the bitch calls timeout. Calls the two fighters together.
Stops now. This isn't wrestling.
Time
This
is
is
up
boxing.
right now.
Just keep this clean.
He wants to keep it clean. He's in command.
A slight gash on Lennox Lewis's eye.
There is a cut over the eye of Lennox Lewis, so the head did come in. Dr. Flip Romansky taking a look at it. And he says, no, it's okay, but he's cut. Lennox Lewis is cut.
It's just a slight little nick.
Just a little nick, but a good left hook can open that up. Comes to the uppercut that Emmanuel Stewart told him to come. Chopping right hand, misses with the left hand. The crowd loves it when Lennox gets busy. Taps with the left hand. Evander comes inside. This is where Evander wants to fight the fight. Inside here like this. Now he comes back out. Outside the kill zone of the big guy, Lennox Lewis.
He needs to jab his way in there, Holyfield does, and then stay on the inside and work that body diligently like he's been doing.
Look at him inside here. He's beating Lennox Lewis with a punch every second inside. Pounds the body, drills him, uses the elbow to push him off.
It's a different fight tonight than it was 8 months ago. Already we can see that.
Well, I'll tell you this, he's got Lewis's attention. Now, Evander doesn't want to hold that left hand too low either, but he comes in throwing. He stays outside the kill zone like Boda did against Mike Tyson, but when Boda lost concentration, he get clipped. Evander won't lose concentration. He's too much of a seasoned boxer and professional. Up on his toes still. Look at this. Lewis tries to come in, doesn't throw the uppercut, spins around. Holyfield wants to throw. Lennox has a big look of concern in his face, and Evander Holyfield has that real grit look on his face, different from what we've seen him. There's the chopping right hand, and this is again by Lennox Lewis. Evander ties him up inside, nails him inside. Puffiness underneath that right eye.
That's right, I was going to point that out. Not only is he cut above the right eye, he's got swelling up underneath the right eye, which could present a real problem for Lennox Lewis as the fight progresses.
Well, Lewis is really having trouble with the boxing style of Evander Holyfield tonight. Evander kind of giving him a boxing lesson.
He's kind of giving him what they call the real deal, Colonel. That's what I think is going on.
Well, that's what they say. Left jab in the face that time. Evander lunges with the left hook. And you see that Lewis doesn't want any part of that left hook on top of that right eye cut. Awkward with his own left hand. Tries to throw the left hook. But Emmanuel Stewart is right. Come with the uppercut. And if Lennox doesn't do this guy is just taking advantage of him. I think Holyfield is won round 5 as well. I got him winning every single round. With the sole exception, and they may have given it to him on aggressiveness the first round. All right, there's the bell ending the 5th round. Another Holyfield round, in my opinion.
I happen to agree with you. Lennox Lewis is just simply not doing enough.
You get closer with the right hand now. Just keep what you're doing. You shoot them with short right hands. When you rushed before, you ended up with the clinch over here. You hurt it with a good shot. Keep shooting that right hand and shoot it just the way you're shooting it. Not that high. Shoot it straight inside. Catch it with that short right hand, okay? Your right hand is the key right now behind your left shot. The uppercut is good because it's getting his attention, but keep shooting the right hand. You shoot them right, but shoot them low. Don't shoot them high. Just what you're doing, banging out is keep setting them in there. Shoot them real straight, real short.
Cut is nothing.
Look
at this. This is when the headbutt, or at least the heads came together.
That's when they flipped over the...
Yeah, when they go over the ropes.
Boy, that got to be tough for Evander, huh? I mean, 242 pounds on you. Unbelievable.
This Frank Bruno is doing the commentating for Sky TV.
Doesn't look very pleased, does he?
No, he doesn't. He'd like to see Lennox take this back. This would be a huge disappointment for the Brits if Lennox can't pull off this upset. It's not an upset.
No,
I mean, he's heavily favored.
Yeah, that's right. Not in this case, it wouldn't be.
All right, this is round 6. Bob Sheridan with Carl King. Evander Holyfield, so far, in my opinion, giving a boxing lesson to Lennox Lewis. Lennox has landed some power shots, make no mistake about it. But will the judges score for the power or the aggressiveness and effective aggressiveness of Evander Holyfield? Holyfield, touch, touch, touch. That's all he wants to do to set it up. Lennox spins his head with a nice straight left jab. Up at his toes is Holyfield, digs to the body downstairs. And that's where not having that big company in the first fight, it has effectiveness now. He's waiting now as Evander, and he doesn't want to do that, at least not inside the kill zone, because this guy can be dangerous with a chopping right hand.
All he had to do is keep touching him with that jab, keep touching with the jab, and then he's going to turn the right hand over top, because Lewis's left hand is extremely low.
Well, an uppercut inside there by Lennox, which he needs to come well with. He doesn't like the head underneath his chin, but unfortunately, when you're 6'5" and you're fighting a guy 6'2½, you're going to have the head in your chin. Looping right hand by neither fighter is really landing clean blows in this round, but you see who's the aggressor. And it's not the WBC heavyweight champ, it's the IBF and WBA champ, Evander Holyfield.
Well, you can tell, it's a telltale sign. It's a quiet crowd right now. And as Lennox entered the ring, it was as noisy as it can get in here. So that's a telltale sign to me that Evander Holyfield is controlling the pace of this fight.
Meanwhile, he popped a pretty good right hand on the forehead of Evander. Evander gets inside. Watch the way he walks him back. And then he goes right away from the power. See the way he spins to the left shoulder? He goes off that left shoulder so he can't throw and be caught by the right hand. This guy is a genius as far as the strategy that he's using in this fight. And he's executing. You see that body shot that time? Now watch him. You're walking backwards because the guy has no power when you're walking him backwards.
He just missed. Evander just missed with a real sharp left hook.
Notice how he continues to parry those punches. When he comes with the left, he'll take his right and turn it inside out and spin it away. When Lennox throws the right, he'll just touch it with his left hand and get it off target. See, he touches inside, Kyle. You're exactly right. That's what he wants to do. Touch, touch, touch. Look for the opportunity to drop the right hand. Bang that shoulder of Lennox Lewis. You heard Don Turner say, go ahead and bang his right shoulder, because when you do that, he's got no power with his right. And you know what? Lennox Lewis is able to execute it. And going into the fight, we said, if he can execute it, he's going to win this fight. And he's executing it right now. Listen to the crowd chanting Holyfield, huh? They're not chanting Lewis right now, are they?
Lewis is starting to complain to the referee. He's just, this is all drama here. This is all dramatics, and that's what you love about boxing as we come to the end of round 6 here.
Now the Brits start to chant Lewis. Evander's by the 6th round, and I think he's won the 6th round as well. I've got a total shutout in this fight for Evander Holyfield.
I happen to agree with you. I think Evander Holyfield is doing everything he's supposed to do to win this fight. And on the other hand, Lennox Lewis is not. He's not landing as much. He's slower. He's a little bit more cautious right now than he should be. Let's listen in to Donald Turner.
Close. That's why he got to reach around you to hold you. And when he reaches around you, let go with a combination and roll out. Then you hit him with the left hook.
Make sure you step twice with your jab and make sure it's still a lot of overhand rights, but don't get set in front of him, right, Don?
Listen to him.
Don't get flat-footed in front of him. That's what they're waiting on. They can't key off of nothing because you're moving.
You work too hard to stay on the balls of your feet.
That's a big key, folks. As long as he doesn't stand right in front of him, this guy can't hit him. If he's off to the right, and it's only a half step, to the right is the best place to be, or to the left. If you take that half step to the left and you're outside the kill zone, you're in the proper position. But you're better moving to the right, because that way you're setting yourself up for the left hook.
And you stay away from the big power shot of Lennox Lewis.
Exactly. And that's the strategy, and he's able to execute it to this point. We're past the midway section because we're into round 7. There's that right hand. Anytime Lewis does anything, the crowd goes pretty crazy here because, like we said, out of the 20,000 people here, more than half are Brits. And they're very vociferous.
And they seem a little quiet right now. But now this is Lewis's best shot is his right uppercut.
A little possum that time by Evander Holyfield, or was he clipped pretty good with that uppercut? I'll tell you this, Lewis is very effective with the uppercuts. And he ought to stay with us. For sure. This doesn't look like the Holyfield of the first 6 rounds all of a sudden. Lennox coming with the uppercuts. He's trying to get inside, get right inside. Oh, really big kidney shot. He ripped one of the body. Look at this, he bangs him again. Mitch Halpern tries to pull the arm down. There he is inside. He clipped Lennox pretty good inside that time. Lennox landing some good shots. This so far, yeah, he got a left hook through, but it's still the best round so far. Lennox comes back, and now he laughs at him and says, come on.
I don't think it's funny, though.
I don't think it's funny either. Oh, he nailed him with a straight left hand. Made him with the right behind the ear. Lennox's legs a little bit wobble.
There he is.
He may be playing a little possum, or he may be hurt. If he's hurt, this guy knows how to finish. He bangs him to the body. Mitch has to get him off him.
He's trying to lure him into a right uppercut, but that's dangerous because he can. Holyfield can counter with a big left hook, and because he's leading with the right uppercut, Lennox Lewis.
I'll tell you, this is a bad tactic because the judges could swing this right around, and Lewis was having a pretty good round, and Holyfield all of a sudden landed some shots. Looked like he staggered for an instant, Lewis, but he was playing a little bit of possum. But his legs are very heavy right now, I'll tell you that.
And his arms are too. Look at there. He wasn't expecting this.
Oh, big right hand. Really cracked him with a right hand. That did catch, really covered. Now that left hook that time. Lewis is hurt. Loads up the right hand. Lewis is definitely hurt. Digs inside of the body. 2 body shots. Evander wants to load up the right hand now. Digs to the body again.
He's really working. Holyfield is doing a great job at executing on the inside.
Well, he certainly is, and he's come back to take this round as well. Remember, I thought Lennox was in the process of stealing the 7th round, and Holyfield has really nailed him. He staggered him, and as a matter of fact, Lewis is breathing very heavy. He's flat-footed. Now, Holyfield doesn't want to stand right in front of this guy. He still has to get his angles. See what happens when he sets up in front? Nails him with 2 shots. Closing seconds down the 7th. Wild is Lennox Lewis right back. Is Evander Holyfield. Look at this. This is what we came for. Big uppercut. Wow.
This is it. That's what it's all about, Colonel. The heavyweight championship of the world. The crowd is on its feet. Unbelievable.
I'll tell you this, Carl. Holyfield snatched victory out of defeat in that round, I'll tell you.
He certainly did. And let's take a look at some of this action in the last round. Big right hand landed by Holyfield. Now watch this, a left hook on the inside. He's working that left hand on the inside. Lennox pushes him off as he come back in. Here we go, left hook that really nailed him. And this was brought on the onslaught of right hand, and on comes Evander Holyfield. What great action there in round number 7.
Let me tell you something. One of the overs and unders they have is a 5th round with pass at.
Now look, this action here is at the end of the round, and Lewis is just trying to, he nails Evander with a decent right, but nothing was on that. He's taking a lot of shots in this round. What a fight this is turning out to be.
Oh man, this is just what we needed in boxing. Here we go, round number 8, scheduled for 12. Can this guy, Evander Holyfield, do it again? You know, when he beat Mike Tyson, it was one of the upsets of the century. What a way to close up the century if this guy could upset Lennox Lewis. Nobody dreamed that the bookmakers had Lennox Lewis a prohibitive favorite. But Evander has won every single round of the fight maybe the first round was even, but some judges could have had that for Holyfield too. But certainly, in my opinion, 2 through 7, all Holyfield. Lennox Lewis hasn't won one round of the fight, in my opinion.
You just kind of wonder what the American broadcasting probably has it scored at right now.
I don't care what they have it. I've seen more fights than all of them combined, and I'll go without scoring.
I'm telling you, you did 600-some world championship fights. I'm trying to get to 600 days of doing this broadcast.
We're doing fine. Good digging body shot by Holyfield. Lennox Lewis should come with the uppercuts. Instead, it's a nice left hook by Evander. Evander right on top of him. Lennox tries to counter with the right hand. Evander doesn't want to get caught in this corner here either. Instead, he walks into him, stays right inside him, ties the arms up inside. Mitch Halpern has the fight to separate these two big heavyweights.
Lennox Lewis looks breathing a bit hard, too, at this stage.
Evander now standing in front of him, and that's not a good idea. In spite of the fact that he's executing, remember, from a big heavyweight, one big punch can change the course of a mighty fight. Michael Moore found that out against a big London guy.
That's right. And Evander, in my opinion, should go back downstairs, the jab to the body, keep touching him. You got to keep touching him instead of waiting on him to fire. You don't want to start into a counterpunch mode.
Lennox trying to get a little bit more aggressive and wants to land the big right hand, digs to the body. But you see Holyfield comes right back. To this point, Lennox is a little bit out in front in the 8th round, of the 8th round. Only the 8th round.
That's right, only the 8th round is right.
And Holyfield doesn't want to get caught standing right in front of him. When he doesn't, he comes inside and walks him back. And notice, folks, every time he grabs him, he walks him backwards. And there's a reason for that. That's not laziness, that's by design. When you get a man backing up and you're in tight, he has no leverage to throw a punch when he's back on his heels. And see him again, pushing him back, pushing him back. He uses his elbow to do it. Put your elbow in somebody's breastbone and you can walk him back very easily. Look at he digs with the uppercut inside there.
Now that's that right hand that Evander's throwing to the left side of the body of Lennox Lewis is what's bringing that left hand down to Lennox Lewis. It's going to open up for a big right hand on the top later on.
Again, Lennox has had a better 8th round. If there's any round in the fight that he's won, it probably is this round at this point, but he looks really winded.
Yes, he does.
And Evander could still steal this round from him with a big finish in the round. Closing seconds now of the 8th round of the fight. Look at this. What a finish to this round. There's no quit in Evander Holyfield. The bell rings around, and I'm going to give that round to Lennox Lewis.
Well, might as well.
I don't know.
Listen.
Too close to tell for me, baby. At the end, he comes back and does something to get it.
He tries to steal it.
Yeah, he's trying to steal it at the end. This round, I want you to put pressure, Lennox. A hard jab and pushing him. Pressure. You're not really pushing him at all. You can see his legs is weak. He's falling all over the place, but you're not pushing. Plenty of stiff jabs. You got to take it down the stretch. We can't fuck around with no more of these rounds, man. The fight is close.
You heard that, but let's take a look at some action. The last round is these guys were going at it. Uppercuts by both fighters. This is tremendous action for two big giant warriors in the heavyweight division. Unbelievable action here. And of course, throughout this entire fight, and you can see Lennox Lewis is lumbering over a little bit. I think he's tired. You know, Evander Stewart is sitting in the corner. You can't mess around with him too much more of these rounds. Evidently, Lennox must have asked him how he was doing.
He says it's very close. I don't think so. He needs to win every one of these rounds if it's going to be close. I want to say hello to Kevin Berry and Clint Brown. They work through down Rockman. We're in the ninth round. Look at that shot.
Boy, I'm just getting excited here, Colonel. You got to forgive me. I'm still a rookie.
That's all right. We want to say hello to all those networks that are so good to us and with us for all the big fights and all the small fights, too. This is something special. Jen and George Calvert are here from Christchurch, New Zealand. They wanted me to be sure to say hi to their sons, Dean and Bryce, so I've done that now.
You know, I say hello to my family as well. I'm going to wait till later on. You know what I mean? This is just too much fun right now.
Now, this is great. We're in the 9th round, scheduled for 12. Who would have dreamed that Evander Holyfield would win at least, well, 6 out of the 8 rounds in my scorecard? I've got it 79-74.
You know, this is unbelievable. And I tell you what, and the folks around the world, if you can tune in to the crowd, who you know going in was pro-Lewis, it's very quiet here, Thomas and Mack. That's a good indicator to me that Evander Holyfield is winning the fight.
Well, we're in the 9th round. There's 3+ rounds to go in this fight. And I'll tell you, the way Lewis won the 8th round, if in fact he did, and any of the judges may have given him the first round, the fight is within striking distance for Lennox if he keeps the pace up. Because the 37-year-old guy has got to start feeling it in the legs.
But Carl, you gotta see that Evander's doubling up the jab and snapping the neck back to Lennox Lewis. And Lennox is not responding. He's not doing anything to come back. So you gotta get an action to Evander Holyfield.
Well, Evander missed with the left hook that time. He's inside, trying to fight inside. Lennox pushes him off. Evander doesn't want to stand in front of him. He's making a mistake that Don Turner told him not to do, and that's lining up in front of him. He's got to remember, half step to the right, half step to the left. Don't get caught, and don't be sucked into Lennox Lewis's fight plan. On the other hand, if you're a Lennox Lewis fan, Lennox is coming back a little bit. As I say that, Evander bags him with a left hook. Ninth round action. Oh, left hand. Uppercut scored by Lennox Lewis.
That's a great shot.
A big shot by Lennox Lewis. And again, it happened because Holyfield's lined up straight in front of him now. If he stays there, he can be hit. Lennox pounds the body. Uppercut. Lennox is making a mistake of not trying to finish this guy off right now. He's got to stay on him. Holyfield, the warrior he is, battles back. Lennox pushes him off. He's going to jump on him.
He's jumping. See what he did? He just closed that gap right quick to get out of range of that left hook that Lennox was trying to throw there.
As tired as Evander is, Lennox is tired too. Lennox snaps the head back.
What a pace, what a pace.
Man, this is terrific with two big heavyweights. Of course, Evander's not really a big heavyweight, but he's in there with a big one. Oh! Blows thrown after the bell by both guys. Evander looks a little staggery at the end of the round. That was another good round for Lennox Lewis.
It was a good round for Lennox, but Evander's on the way is coming back, I can tell you that. He's really fought gallantly at the end of that round with those jabs. He just got caught with a big shot.
You can't
Rub his low back. Rub his back with eyes and eyes.
You can't pull straight back. Always, when you over this way, just a half a step.
When you stay on your toes, everything works for you. When you get in your vertical rhythm, he can't time your punches.
Two jabs. We got 3 more rounds.
Little water.
Now let's take
10, 11, 12.
There's some action from the last round. A big shot. I don't know if that was the shot that was the biggest uppercut of the round for Lennox. But it was
Carl, see the problem, see where he is.
That was the shot right there.
Big uppercut.
That was the shot, and it was a. We just didn't have a good angle to see how effective that shot really was. But that might have been the best shot Lennox Lewis landed on.
All right, Lewis has turned it around. He's won 8 and 9. I've got an 88-84 with 3 rounds to go. It's anybody's fight. This is the 10th round. Bob showed him with Carl King at the Thomas & Mack Center here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Evander Holyfield cannot stand in front of this guy or he's going to get clipped. He's got to remember, just as Don Turner said, half step to the right, half step to the left. Fire the left hand, fire the left hand. Look for the opportunity to land the right.
Double jab as he goes.
There it is, the double jab, and that's what he has to do to back him up.
It works.
Meanwhile, Lennox has got a little bit of second wind now. He's up on his toes, but he needs to throw the right hand more. Left hook gets through, right left taken on the jaw by Lennox Lewis. You see Evander again come in and back him back.
That's right. He's making him work. He's making a big guy expend some energy. That's what that's all about. And I tell you what, you know, these guys are in there. Both guys are going to be tired. This is going to be down to who wants it.
I'll tell you, one of these two guys is going to take a couple of these rounds definitively at the end. Or we could be in the danger of another draw.
Yeah, I don't think so, but
well, it's close enough, Carl, on the scorecard that it could end up that way.
Yeah, you're right.
Because if Lewis wins the rest of the rounds, it's going to be very, very close. But Evander has got to take at least 1 and 2 of these rounds definitively if he's going to win this fight. It was all about winning definitive rounds in the first fight, and Lennox Lewis so far is winning the 10th round.
Well, you know, he's coming on, but is it enough? Too little, too late? I don't think so. But, you know, Evander has to catch that second win and get out of the way of that danger shots.
Well, Evander is not doing what Don Turner told him to do. He's not taking the half steps. He's lining up right in front of him. And, you know, part of that's fatigue. See that? He's open for the right hand when he does it. He's got to be half-stepping to the right. He has chosen now to stand and mix with this guy. And it's not good strategy.
No, I don't think so either. I think he needs to keep that jab, keep touching him. As long as he's touching him, he's having going this way. The minute he stops, that's when Lennox comes at him.
Well, don't forget the fatigue factor. He is 37 years old and has been in a lot of wars. Lennox is 34. He's not that much younger, but he's never been in a war until he fought this guy tonight.
That's right. This is it. This is a defining moment for both guys, and more so for Lennox Lewis, and to see what the world can see what he's actually made of, and is he a real force to be reckoned with in the future of the heavyweight division.
Well, he has sucked it up from the 8th round on because he's winning the 10th round as well. We're inside of 25 seconds to go. Lennox Lewis has won this round to this point, and he's going to try and finish this round definitively, and that gives Lewis 8, 9, and 10. Holyfield, I had him 2 through 7, but when you win 8, 9, and 10, you're right back in this fight.
That's right. And he needed to do that. And now look at the little guy tossing the big guy around.
All right. That's another Lennox Lewis round on my scorecard. Now let me recap what I've got. I had the first round too close to call. Holyfield 2 through 7, Lewis 8, 9, and 10.
Get that damn jab to work.
And 3 points separating the fighters with 2 rounds to go.
At least you shoot the right and the hook behind it. What you need to do in your best punch, whenever you make your little fade off, you let them miss the same thing you did and do that the 11th round like you did the last time. You let them miss a lot stepping off, but push it through after that. Okay? Push the damn right hand through. Push the right hand through after you let it miss, okay? You can't take no damn chances, man.
What means this much to you?
Combination punches on the inside, man.
You got to have faith in God that you can go up this with 100% for 2 rounds, and you can do it. 100%. You're a workhorse. Let's go see it now. Don't take anything off. 3 minutes of work.
Jim Strickland, Don Turner, and that's what he needs. He's got to win at least one of these last 2 rounds on my scorecard for him to win this fight. Lewis needs to win both of them, and he's got a shot at winning. This fight's closer than you think, Tom.
Yeah, it probably is. You know, I'm a rank amateur at this, and I'm just glad I'm not sitting in one of those 3 hot seats around the ring.
Remember, the judges are Chuck Giampa, Bill Graham, and Jerry Roth. Giampa and Roth were in Stuttgart, Germany, when a riot broke out over the decision with Francois Botha and a guy by the name of Axel Schultz who's in attendance here tonight. So strange things can happen on scorecards. We didn't want it to end that way. I wanted it to be definitive. But in order for it to be definitive in my scorecard, Evander has got to win one of these last 2 rounds and win it clearly.
And like you said, or Lennox win both of them clearly.
Lennox win both of them clearly, and I got almost a draw. And that's not what people came to see.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right about that. Pace is slowed a little bit.
Well, they're both. You got the big guy and you got Evander. But Evander's trying to get his angles again. He's not lined up straight in front of him. Well, that's a good sign for Evander if you're a Holyfield fan. Nice, crisp, short, right, chopping right hand inside by Lennox Lewis. Evander now is not doing enough to win this round. He's not busy enough. Lennox is taken away from him. He is tired. He's gassed. Good body shot by Lennox Lewis. I'll tell you this, if this goes to the scorecard, you're going to have another controversy.
You know, it's just a shame. You know, these 2 guys are so evenly matched up, apparently. I don't see this as much as a controversy as March 13th thus far, if in fact it goes the way it went last March.
No, because clearly Lennox Lewis was a winner, in our opinion, by 2 or 3 rounds. This one's not as clear if in fact Lewis continues to win this round. He's not doing a tremendous amount, but he's doing more than Holyfield. Holyfield's sloppy because he's gassed. He's tired right now. His legs are heavy. Lennox is tired too, but he's more crisp.
Somebody is.
Yeah, Lennox had that little gash beside his eye back in the 5th round. He's done a great job over in his corner taking care of it. Emmanuel Stewart, Al Gavin, Darrell Knight, Frank Maloney, his manager, all great guys. Evander not doing enough, Carl, to win this 11th round if you're a Holyfield fan.
No, and you know there's a lot of Holyfield fans around the world because this guy's been a credit to boxing. But he is exhausted at this point, and Lennox is laying on us, 242 pounds laying on him. But hell, both of them
Another great job, by the way, by Mitch Halpern, keeping this fight nice and clean and handling these 2 great big guys. Nice job by a young referee. This guy's rapidly developing into one of the great referees in boxing.
That's it. You know, Lennox has done a great job the last few rounds of evading that big left hook of Evander's. So, you know, he's come a long way, too.
Lennox has out-hustled Evander from the 8th round on.
And look at him. Look at Lennox. He's tired. Evander's tired. Boy, I tell you, what a fight. 1 more round to go, and we'll have an undisputed champion of the world.
Hey, by the way, we just get word that HBO has Lewis well ahead, around 4 points. I don't see it that way at all. I see Lennox Lewis needing this last round of the fight if he's got any shot to win the fight. I don't see it that way at all.
I don't either. Not
All you
that
got to
big.
do is go out there and stay on this guy and be smart. Stay small and move your feet. That jab will open everything else up. Stay small and use your feet.
But Carl, remember, we scored the first round even. I've got a 106-104 Holyfield. So if somebody gave Lennox Lewis the first round and Lennox Lewis wins the 12th round, I got a draw. Now HBO, the American commentators, has Lewis winning by 4 rounds. I don't see the fight that way at all.
I don't either.
I don't see anything between 2 and 7 that Holyfield didn't win. All right, here we go. There will be controversy if this goes to the scorecards.
And it looks like it just might at this point. There's an excellent chance that it will.
Both guys need this round. Both guys need to be aggressive. Has Evander got enough left in his gas tank to finish strong for 3 more minutes? This might be the last 3 minutes of his boxing career. For Lennox Lewis, if he wants to take the 3 belts back to England, he better win this round on my scorecard. Big inside shot by Evander. Evander landed a good right hand and a left hook. Somebody has got to knock somebody down here to win this fight.
Watch your heads, Evander. Watch your heads.
That's the way. You know, Lennox looks a little bit more exhausted this round than he did the previous couple of rounds.
Well, I thought he won 8, 9, 10, 11 real clearly. But I thought just as clearly that Evander took 2 through 7, so it's going to go to the judges' scorecard apparently, unless something dramatic happens here in the closing couple minutes of this fight. Both guys trying to work as hard as they can. Nice uppercut by Evander Holyfield. He's bouncing the head back. Evander now is right in front of him. It's just a Pier 6 ball right now. Both of these guys know they need this round, and both of them need it definitively. Nice right hand by Lennox Lewis. Lennox bopped that one on the ear, the left ear of Evander. People are chanting Evander, they're chanting Lewis. It's a war, a battle of words and a war of attrition in the ring.
It's a matter of who wants it the most. And neither guys, I mean, both guys are real tired. And Lennox is depending on that. He had that one big left uppercut. That's a half a round to go.
Well, the crowd is really going crazy right now. Emmanuel Stewart over in the corner saying, come on, you got to win this definitively. This round is still up for grabs, by the way. Nice right hand that time by Holyfield. I think Holyfield has landed heavier blows here in the 12th round.
I do too. I think thus far, he's slightly ahead in this round because, look, he's nailing him to the body. He's landing the power punches in this round.
Right now, he's outworking. He's outworking Lennox in this final minute now. Let's see what happens in the closing 48 seconds, 47 seconds. As far as I'm concerned, I think Evander has won this last round.
He's got 40 seconds left, folks, and he's got to, this could be, whoever closes this show definitively could be the winner.
Well, it's not going to be definitively if the judges see it the way they see it in the American commentary.
Well, I certainly hope not. That would be a travesty.
This fight is a lot closer than people believe.
Yep, it's a good fight. It's a much better fight than the one in March.
Well, it was a good show anyway. Inside of 14 seconds to go. Remember, you could not be saved by the bell in any round, including this one. And there's not going to be a knockout.
Nope. You know, this has been a great demonstration of the Warriors at the very best.
It's all over. I've got Holyfield pulling out the 12th round.
I do too.
And I've got a 116-113 in favor of Evander Holyfield. Now, HBO, the American commentator's position, has Lennox Lewis winning the fight by about the same margin. So we're 6 points apart. Now it's all going to the scorecards of Chuck Giampa, Bill Graham, and Jerry Roth. I know that Nevada judges like aggressiveness and effective aggressiveness. So this is going to be something to see. You know, if they've got it 3 points one way, we've got it 3 points the other way. A draw is not out of the question. Boy, with the people hate that.
No. Let's not even think that. I think Evander Holyfield won this fight, and
well, look at Carl. Let's recap.
I'm not a judge, though.
Well, I'm a judge. I've judged more fights than the judges have combined, and I think that Holyfield took 2 through 7 definitively, and I think that it was made a very close fight because Lewis came back to take 8, 9, 10, 11. And while 12 was close, I thought the power punches in the 12th round were landed by Evander Holyfield. Thus, in my scorecard, 116-113. But you will be able to hear a pin drop when Jimmy Lennon announces this decision. Is Evander.
Okay, we got to go here. Look at this. This is action from the last round. You got Evander Holyfield throwing. These guys are fighting for the undisputed championship of the world, and they're letting it all out in the last minute of the last round. There's a good left uppercut landed by Evander Holyfield. This is Lewis pushes him away with the elbow. This was an absolute war.
Okay, listen to this. I think you're going to be surprised with this. I think they're going to give it to Lennox Lewis.
Rounds, an undisputed heavyweight champion. As after 12 rounds of action, we go to the scorecards with a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Jerry Roth scores at 115-113. Judge Chuck Joppa scores at 116-112. Judge at ringside, Bill Graham sees at 117-111. All three in favor of the winner and the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Lennox Lewis.
Boy, I didn't see it that way. But Lennox Lewis is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Evidently, the judges thought that Evander wasn't as busy as we thought he was in 2 through 7.
Must have been. Unbelievable, but that's the way it goes.
Well, that's all right with me. At least it was definitive. All three of the judges saw it. I personally think that Holyfield got jobbed in the fight, but all three of the judges saw it just about the same way, so I'm not going to complain. Lennox Lewis is the new undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, and we congratulate him and everybody in England.
Sure do. What a valiant effort by both guys. Evander Holyfield just seemed to maybe fell off the pace in the latter rounds. I don't know how the official scorecards had it, round by round, but it was a great fight nonetheless.
But Bill Graham had it 117-111, which means he had 6 more rounds in favor of Lennox Lewis than Evander Holyfield. Man, I just don't see the fight like that.
I didn't either.
I don't see it that way at all. I thought Holyfield easily took 2 through 7.
I did too, but you know.
Listen to the Brits cheer. We just congratulated Frank Maloney. In case you didn't hear the judges, Chuck Ciampa scored at 116-112. Bill Graham had the widest margin, 117-111. We're ready for the interview with Evander Holyfield, so let's go to it.
Evander, your thoughts?
Well, first of all, give honor and thanks to the Lord. Decisions by man, but victory is the Lord. And I'm happy and I praise the Lord. And decisions is decisions.
Were you surprised by it?
Well, of course I was. But we all about surprised by the decision that man makes.
It appeared that you had the first maybe 6 or 7 rounds, took the jab away from him, you were more aggressive. Is that the way you saw the first half of the fight?
I wasn't judging the fight. I would just fight, and that's the only thing I can do is just fight, and the judges make decisions.
What's the next step for you?
Well, I don't know right now. Right now, I have to go back and pray see what I need to do.
Are you disappointed? Truly disappointed?
Well, of course, everyone disappointed when things don't go their way, but life is life.
Congratulations, Evander. Thank you. All right, let's go back to the Colonel.
Well, I'll tell you, they're louder now than they were during the fight, which makes me believe that all the Brits in attendance here sort of agree with the way we call the fight. They weren't cheering from 2 through 7. Now, they did cheer from 8 through the end of the fight because Lewis definitely came on, even on our scorecard. He's being interviewed by TVKO. We'll drop in.
Enough people were trying to stop me.
We're going to have Mark Goldberg go over there and try and get Lennox Lewis in a moment. The American Network is interviewing him right now. We'll try to get his reaction, but while we have time, there's a few people I want to thank from our boxing department: Dana Jameson, our matchmakers Peyton Shear, John Bonatti, and Bobby Goodman. From our public relations staff, certainly Greg Fritz, Hartman Terrace from the great hotel, the Las Vegas Hilton. You see a very disappointed guy there. We got a few replays for you that we're going to show you. We continue to thank some people at Main Events, Kathy Duber and her entire staff. Okay, Carl, pick up this replay here.
Well, here we go. I'm not sure what round this is, but look at this. It must be from the last round, but that was a great left hook by Evander Holyfield. And as you can see, he's throwing the right hands. Lennox Lewis, he won the fight, but I tell you what, I didn't quite see it the way that the judges seen it. But, that's boxing, that's life, and life goes on.
Well, that's pretty much...
That was a great, look at that great right uppercut. That was Lennox Lewis's best punch all night long, was the right uppercut. I don't think Evander made the adjustment to block the right uppercut.
Okay, let's go to Mark Goldberg with Lennox Lewis now.
All right, we're here with the undisputed heavyweight champion, Lennox Lewis. Do you feel any vindication tonight?
Definitely. This time it was more of a difficult fight. He basically trained for me. He was using different tactics. He was trying to steal the rounds at the end. He wasn't really doing too much in the beginning of the rounds, but then at the end of the rounds, he was trying to rally.
Were you conserving any kind of energy through the first half of the fight? It appeared that way.
Yeah, a little bit. It was difficult because he was really coming in with his head, and I was trying to score the punch as he was coming in.
Well, you had a lot left over, and it almost appeared that you were fighting a little bit out of anger. Were you fighting a little out of anger in the second half?
Yeah, because I definitely wanted to win. I couldn't make all these fans come over here and support me without bringing back all the belts.
But in this country, we call the fans the 12th element, as it were, because they back up their home team. It appeared that that's exactly the way it was here when you entered the ring.
Yeah, definitely. I felt some strength going in there with all my fans. I felt good. I couldn't let them down. I couldn't let myself down. I had to get all the belts. This is my goal, and this is my dream.
Well, Lennox, again, congratulations. Take the belt home and take it into the next millennium with you.
Yeah, millennium.
Lennox Lewis, the undefeated and undisputed heavyweight champion. Let's go back to the Colonel.
All right, thank you, Mark. Nice interview there. Two gracious guys. Certainly gracious in defeat was Evander Holyfield. Gracious in victory, Lennox Lewis. Two really nice guys in boxing. From their staffs, I want to thank Frank Maloney from Lennox Lewis's staff and Don Turner from Evander Holyfield's staff for helping us out all week. And all the people over at TVKO, Lou DeBella and Mark Taffy and their whole crowd. Our technical support has been from Robert Ritchie and Colette James and Gene Berry of the ticket department. We certainly thank you. From our international TV staff, I want to thank some people too in charge of transmission at Strategic TV, Diane McKay, Barbara Sipes, Mike Catazzano, Tim Smith, and Matt Bridges. Thank you one and all. And their engineer in charge has been from Big Vision, Chuck Hafley. Thanks for ringside security from Pancho Limon and Mike Prince. Our stage manager has been Casey Sipes. We thank Sis Raycraft for help with stats. Johnny Perez, our producer. Great job, Johnny, and our associate producer, Ira Glass and Maria Rusi. Thank you one and all. Great job by our director, Victor Gonzalez. For our entire executive staff, Rafael Torres, our executive producer, for Carl King and Mark Goldberg, and our entire production staff here at King Vision, I'm Bob Sharon saying, hope you enjoyed it. You've got a new undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. See you next time. Good night, everybody.